How do you evaluate expressions? Some expressions look difficult because they include parentheses and brackets. You can think of brackets as outside parentheses. Find the value of this numerical expression. 1/2 times -4 to the second power minus the quantity of 2 plus the quantity of 3 6/10 divided by 9/10. A numerical expression is a math expression that contains numbers and at least one operation. 3 plus 4, 5 times 3/4, and 8 divided by 2 plus 5/10 are numerical expressions. Why do you think brackets are used as outside parentheses? Use the order of operations to help you evaluate the expression. Start with the inside parentheses first, then do the rest of the calculations within the brackets. What do you do first? Evaluate inside the parentheses. 3 6/10 divided by 9/10 equals 4. What is next? Evaluate inside the brackets. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Evaluate the power. -4 to the second power equals 16. What is next in the order of operations?
Select your answer.
Multiply or divide from left to right. 1/2 times 16 equals 8. What is the last step? Add or subtract from left to right. 8 minus 6 equals 2. You evaluated the expression using the order of operations.
Find the value of the numerical expression at the right.
We have 1/8 brackets around 6 to the third power plus parentheses 48 divided by 6 in parentheses minus 20. So we have to evaluate this expression. So the first thing we do is inside the brackets and work our way from the inside out. So we know we have to do parentheses first. So 48 divided by 6 is 8. And then we have 6 to the third power plus that 8. And so first we have to do those exponents before we can add the 8. So 6 to the power of 3 is 6 times 6 times 6. So 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. And that's going to be plus the 8. And now we can add the 216 plus the 8, and that equals 224. And then you have 1/8 parentheses 224, and because they are attached, like the 1/8 and that parentheses, that should tell us that we are multiplying those two numbers. So we would say 1/8 times 224 minus 20. So 1/8 times 224. I was going to do it on a calculator, but let me show you this mathematically just so we're all on the same page. 1/8 times 224. And we know that a whole number is made a fraction as long as you can put it over, or you are able to put it over 1. So we multiply straight across, which will give us 224 over 8. And so we're going to divide that. So 224 divided by 8, you would do long division, and then you would get 28. And so 28 minus 20, and then 28 minus 20 will leave us with 8. So everything is going to shift a little once I scroll up. Okay. And then we have 8 as our final answer. That's it.
Evaluate the numerical expression 2 5/10 squared plus the quantity 6 minus 3/4 divided by 2 times 2 to the 5th power.
We're going to evaluate inside the parentheses. So 6 minus 3/4 is first. And so that equals 5 1/4. And then they brought down the dividing by 2. In the brackets, we solve that. We get 2 5/8. And then we have 2 5/10 to the power of 2. And we have 2 to the power of 5. We would first evaluate the power, so start from left to right. So this one comes first. And then we evaluate 2 to the 5th power next. And so that equals 6 25/100. And then 2 to the power of 5 is equal to, that's interesting. They didn't do that. They multiplied. They kind of skipped that step. But you are supposed to do 2 to the 5th power next, and then multiply it by 2 5/8, and you would get 84. And 6 25/100 added to that 84 will give you 90 25/100. So that value of that expression is 90 25/100.
How can you insert grouping symbols in the expression so that it has a value of -5? Remember to choose efficient methods. When you use math symbols and procedures correctly, you are demonstrating mathematical fluency. To begin, try placing parentheses around 40 minus 49 and evaluate the expression. First, work inside the parentheses. 40 minus 49 equals -9. Then multiply 32 by 5/9, which is 17 7/9. Now add. This expression has a value of 8 7/9, which does not equal -5, so you need to place the grouping symbols in another location. Now, try placing parentheses around 49 plus 32 and evaluate the expression. First, work inside the parentheses. 49 plus 32 equals 81. Then, you need to multiply 81 by 5/9, which equals 45, and subtract. The difference is -5. Inserting grouping symbols around 49 plus 32 gives the numerical expression a value of -5. That's the value we wanted.
Part A. Find the value of the numerical expression 3 2/10 squared minus the quantity 9 times 4 plus 9 times the quantity 1/3 squared.
Okay, we're going to start with our grouping. So we do have brackets, and then inside of those brackets we have parentheses. So we're going to do our parentheses first, which is 9 times 4. That is equal to 36. So we now have inside our brackets 36 plus 9 times 1/3 to the power of 2. And we have 3 2/10 to the power of 2 minus, let me put it up a little higher, minus Okay, now the next step, we're going to do the next grouping. I'm just going to do it in a different color. We have inside our bracket 36 plus 9. So 36 plus 9 is equal to 45. So we now have 45 here. And then we have 3. I don't like that 3. 3 and 2/10 to the power of 2 minus 45 times 1/3 to the power of 2. Now we have to evaluate what's next in order of operations, which is the exponents or powers. So we're going to do that now. And so we have 3 and 2/10 times 3 and 2/10. So when you multiply that, it equals 10 and 24/100. Minus 45, and then we have to do 1/3 times 1/3, and let's show you this on the side. 1/3 times 1/3, you will get 1/9. So we have multiply 1/9. And now we need to do next in our order of operations, which is multiplying or dividing. In this instance, we have multiplying. So we're going to multiply the 45 and 1/9. So we write that up here. 45 times 1/9. Okay, so again, that's over 1. That will equal 45 over 9. And then when you divide 45 and 9, you should get 5. And so now we have left over 10 and 24/100 minus 5. Okay, now we do that. 10 and 24/100 minus 5. And we get as our final answer 5 and 24/100. So now we've evaluated that expression. Okay, let's move on to B. So I'm going to erase everything here.
Part B. Insert grouping symbols so that the numerical expression has a value of 80.
Okay, so this requires some trial and error, which means you're going to make a mistake because we're trying it out. We have to see which grouping is going to allow us to equal 80. So let's see. Let's try grouping. Let's do 3 plus 7. So I put my grouping there. So now I have to evaluate it. So 3 plus 7 has to be done first. So 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. And then we have multiplied by 2/3 to the power of 2 times 12 plus 6 is left. Right? So now what's next is exponents. Our exponents is 2/3 to the power of 2. So we do, and I'm going to write it up here, 2/3 times 2/3. That's going to be 4/9. And so we have, I'm going to rewrite it up here, 6 plus 12 times 4/9 times 10. Now we have to do multiplying or dividing from left to right. So from left to right, what comes next is 12 times 4/9. So we have to do that first. So I'm going to write over here 12 times 4 ninths. And so we have 12 times 4 is 48. And then 48 divided by 9 is what we have left to evaluate. That is not going to go into it evenly, so we're going to have a mixed fraction. So we have 9, let's do long division, into 48. 9 goes into 48 5 times. 45, 3, and so that would be 5 and 3 ninths, which can be simplified to 5 and 1/3, because we're going to divide by the greatest common factor, which would be 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So now we have 6 plus 5 and 1/3 times 10. Now we have to continue multiplying because we still have multiplying. So now we have 5 and 1/3 times 10. So we need to evaluate that. I'm going to put it as a improper fraction, so it's going to be 16 over 3 times 10 over 1. So we get 16 times 10 is going to be 160, and we're going to divide 160 and 3. That does not go into it evenly, so we're going to have to do long division. So 3 goes into 160, 3 goes into 16 5 times. That's 15. Subtract, that's 1, bring it down to 0. 3 goes into 10 3 times. That's 9. That equals a 1. So we have 53 and 1/3. So that is simplified as that can get. So we have 6. We have 6 plus 53 and 1/3. So now all we have left to do is 6 plus 53 and 1/3. So let's erase some of this so we can show that. So we have 6 plus 53 and 1/3. We have to make them both into fractions. At least that's how I like to show it. So we have 6 over 1. And then 53 and 1/3, I'm going to make it into an improper fraction. So 53 times 3 is 159 plus 1 is 160. That takes us back to what we had before. Excuse me. And with adding fractions, you must have the same denominator. So for 1 and 3, we need them to be the same. So we can easily make 6 and over 1 to reflect over 3 by multiplying the denominator and numerator by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 3 is 18. And then we have 160 over 3. And then you add. So we have 160 plus 18 is 178 over 3 because the denominator stays the same. We do have to simplify that. And if we were to divide that, it would not be equal. It would actually get to another mixed number, which we know does not bring us back to 80. So that grouping did not work. So we have to start all over. So now let's try another grouping. Let's see. Let's try grouping 6 and 12. Okay, so if we do 6 and 12, we would have to do 6 plus 12 first, and that is equal to 18. So we have 18 times 2/3 to the second power times 3 plus 7.